In the spotlight this morning, you already know Phil Keegan from his Emmy Award-winning reality series, The Amazing Race. And we love that show. And his other hit reality show, Tough as Nails, is back for its fourth season of intense competition, putting essential workers to the test at real job sites. And Phil joins us now live via Zoom to tell us all about it. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning. I appreciate you taking the time to talk about a show that I'm incredibly proud of, and I love that we have a show called Tough as Nails that celebrates the every person, if you like, the people that keep things running in our country every day. I think we appreciated essential workers even more during the pandemic, but this is a show that is for them and is about them. And yeah, I'm so proud of the cast that we've got this season on season 4. People from all walks of life, welders, construction workers, pipeline workers, people that wake up every day and work with their hands to get the job done no matter what. And that's where really at its core what Tough as Nails is all about, a celebration of people that I think have been forgotten for too long.
Right. And you, like you just said, they really are the heart and soul of what this country is. And really, through all of the tough times that we had to deal with the past couple of years, they're the ones who really were out there and keeping us going every single day.
You know, I think it's incredibly tough to get up every single day and go to work where you're doing it year after year, day after day, getting up before the sun comes up and putting in hard physical work every single day. And that is really what we're celebrating, is that mental toughness, because without those people, stuff would stop working. We wouldn't have a military. We wouldn't have buildings getting built. If there was a storm and the power goes out, we wouldn't have people who are prepared to go out in the storm and to fix it. When there's a fire, people who are prepared to run into a burning building and save other people's lives. I just love that we have this opportunity to say, what do you do? Mm-hmm. And how does your job work? And we appreciate you. And so what we've got is a collection of the best in their chosen trade, people who work across the board from, like I said, pipeline workers all the way through to construction. We've got the young and the old. We've got those people who take such great pride in building things, who drive past a building like the SoFi Stadium. Sergio, who is a supervisor, construction supervisor, who worked on the SoFi Stadium, which is an amazing building, and feels that incredible pride about being a part of that. And so this is a celebration of those real people in real life who are real tough. And the fact that I get to tell their stories is a huge honor.
Hey, Phil, can you just tell us about some of the challenges that these people have to face on the show? Because, look, they're tough people, but the challenges sometimes, I'm sure even they're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, that's a great point. We're trying to give people, put them in challenges that happen at real job sites. So you're going to see people do things that they may have never done before, like building a wall. They might be an electrician, but suddenly they've got to build a concrete wall, or maybe they're at a fisheries, or maybe they're getting a V8 engine up and running, or servicing a car. So that's the difference, I think, between Tough as Nails and other shows, too, is that we travel to real job sites and kind of plug in and we go, okay, you're going to be a mechanic today. You're going to pour concrete today. And maybe, you know, they've never done that before because their job never it requires them to do something like that. But every single one of the people that we have on Tough as Nails, they're all adaptable people who have amazing life skills so they can turn their hand at anything.
Well, congratulations on this new season of Tough as Nails. Thanks so much for spending some time with us. Tough as Nails is tonight at 9 right here on WPRI 12.